Hey guys, what's going on? This is Mr. Happy with week 8 of the Final Fantasy XIV Informational. Last week, I asked people who have been following my YouTube channel, I kind of asked them to ask questions, which is a weird thing to do. There's not much more information that's come out. A few more screenshots have come out. But mostly, everyone's just on their seats, on the edge of their seats, waiting for Beta Phase 3, myself included. So what I did is I asked everyone to ask me questions. If you have any questions, I'll take a week, the following weeks, while there's no more new information, no new videos for me to come out, and I'll answer them. So, one question I actually got a few times was to explain the class and job system. I've talked about jobs very briefly in the past, but I haven't really delved into how the class job system actually works. Um, as excuse me, as some of you might know, I've been playing a bit of RO2. I didn't give the game a great score, but I've still been playing it. Been trying to find ways to try and see if maybe I can get some more fun out of it. Maybe I can give it a fair review, and that'll be coming later today. But it's actually pretty similar to that. RO2, this is how it works. You start as, let's say, an archer, and at 25, you can become a ranger or a beastmaster. It's not exactly the same, but that's the closest comparison I could get from another game. In this game, however, it's, for example, you start as a gladiator, and you will eventually become a paladin. You're a lancer, you'll eventually become a dragoon. There's only one advanced job that you're going to become, and there are requirements that must be met in order to unlock this job. The first is that you have the base class at 30. So if you're a paladin, it's gladiator. If you're a dragoon, it's lancer. If you're a monk, it's pugilist. If you're a bard, it's archer. I know that's a little weird. If you're a warrior, it's marauder. If you're a white mage, it's conjurer. And if you're a black mage, it's thaumaturge. Also, if you're a summoner, it'll be arcanist when that comes out. You need at least that job at class at level 30. Then you need a subclass at 15. For paladin, you need conjurer at 15. Dragoon, you need pugilist at 15. I don't know why a fucking dragoon needs to be able to punch shit. A monk, you need a lancer at 15. So I guess they're just going back and forth with that one. Bard, you need conjurer at 15. White mage, you need gladiator at 15. And black mage, you need pugilist at 15. I don't really know what some of the reasoning is behind those level 15 requirements. And summoner, we don't know yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be conjurer or thaumaturge, one or the other. So that's how it works. When you unlock the job, you don't become that job. You get a little equip slot where you can equip the job when you want to play it. So what is the difference? Why do you need to go from a class to a job if the only difference is that little slot telling you, okay, you're a paladin now? Here's the difference. When you're a gladiator, you have access to the armory system. I've spoken about the armory system in the past. It's a system that allows you to use certain abilities from other classes. Like if you're a gladiator, you can use cure from your conjurer, something like that. That sounds a lot like a paladin, but that's where we move on. When you advance to a job, it becomes narrower, the abilities that you can use. For example, whereas with a gladiator, you would be able to use almost any, you'd be able to use most lancer, pugilist, archer, or marauder abilities. Now I think you're limited to, I think, your paladin abilities, your warrior abilities, and your paladin, gladiator, marauder, and conjure abilities. So it limits itself to what abilities you can use. So again, why limit yourself like that? Well, a paladin is a party-based job. Jobs are more party-based. They fulfill a role solidly. They are a narrowed down way of solving the whole what do I do? As a gladiator can just put all spells on it. You can put just a bunch of spells on his cast bar and just be like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. That doesn't work the same in ARR, A Realm Reborn, but it's similar because a gladiator could just put a bunch of abilities on his bar that don't really mean anything for the tanking role. A paladin always has abilities that support his role. A dragoon only has abilities that support his role. Monk only has abilities that support his role, etc. That's the whole point. Like a bard, I know bard gets like conjurer, archer, and I feel like lancer. I think is the other one they get. So that's really the whole class job system. Eventually, there's a possibility that one class will be able to branch into two different jobs. Again, all it is a little slot, but it means that you're going to need that thing at least level 30. That's all it really means. So all it is it's a narrowed down version of your class that does a party-based job better, whereas a gladiator would be doing a solo-based job. Do I think that that needs to be the system? No, I don't think it's the best system for handling it because most likely people are still going to do solo content as paladins, dragoons, monks, bards, warriors, white mages, black mages, and summoners. Summoner is actually an exception from this. What a lot of people don't seem to know about summoner is that it's the only job of the 8 that is significantly different from its class. The Arcanist class is a very dot based, like it's like the warlock. They do a lot of dots. They do things like that. They're very damage over time oriented. But then they can summon Carbuncle. When you become a summoner, you lose the ability to do all those damage over time spells, but you gain the ability to use all the other summons. So it's really the biggest indication of what's to come from future jobs as opposed to the classes that they started as. So it doesn't really it's not really limited that much, but it's still kind of an awkward way of handling it because of the way that the original 7 are set up. So that is how the class job system works. I know it's a little confusing, but basically what it's going to do is you're going to start as a class, you're going to eventually become a job. That's what it is. My favorite job to play, uh, I'm waiting because I really want my favorite job to be summoner, but right now it's monk. Reason why it's monk is they have a little bit more versatility than they did in 11. But they of course they still just punch shit. But as of 1.0, Monk had Fist of Earth, Fist of Fire, Fist of Wind, which each had different effects. You had to use them accordingly. They drained mana every second, so you kind of sometimes had to shut them off or you had to switch them. It was just a nice little mechanic change as opposed to the stance thing, which was just a terrible inclusion in 1.0. The whole stance thing for pugilists and monks. So that is how the class job system works. Now I'm going to answer a few other questions. These questions were actually lined up in the comments and answered by somebody else in in my previous video. But I am going to take the time and I'm going to go through my comments right now. I'm going to answer a bunch of questions. All right, how do you start a free company? Pretty much the same way you start a guild. I have somebody who answered all these questions very much correctly. In the comments below. His name is Anthony X. Thank you for taking the time to respond to one of my viewers and answer his questions for me. I just wanted to answer them more formally in the video. Question number 2 is there a ranking system with free companies? His answer was, I assume you mean grand companies, and yes, there are. Of course, there's always going to be a ranking system. Otherwise, there's no fun in it. Will you be able to assign certain privileges to certain company members? That I remember reading something about that somewhere where yes, you can, but there's no clear details as to what the differences are. I have to find the source, but I know I've seen an interview that with regards to that question. After playing Final Fantasy V, it has created in me an interest in certain classes like Time Mage. Yoshi P specifically said that all classes and jobs from every Final Fantasy are on the table. Nothing is being excluded. You can look forward to things that were not only in Final Fantasy 11, but earlier Final Fantasies like the ones 1 through 6. Have they mentioned what perks will come from the ARR Collector's Edition? Yes, they've said A, we won't have to rebuy, and B, we'll be getting things like novelty armors from the previous games, like old Final Fantasy novelties and whatnot. Again, nothing game changing, but they are giving some people something if you did pre-order the Collector's Edition. I know people on comps use programs like Skype to chat, and any suggestion on what PS3 users can do since there won't be an in-game voice chat. It's the Final Fantasy 11 syndrome. You're going to have a computer next to you if you want to make use of voice chat. Otherwise, it's going to be all text-oriented, what's the word I'm looking for? Communication. I know, such a simple word, right? Will ARR be compatible with Mac computers? This has not been announced yet, but currently, no. What is your favorite class job to play and why? I just answered that, thankfully. I know you want to know our questions, but do you currently have any questions about ARR that still have yet to be answered by the devs? Really, the only thing I'm waiting for is a more solid indication of when things are to come, such as future jobs. There's nothing specific like, oh, are you going to do this? I just want to know, um, when are things going to come out? I don't have any like specific questions. I more have time-based questions, and for that I just have to wait until they announce it. They're not going to answer quicker because I asked it, unfortunately. Unless I get lucky at the next live letter. All right, when creating a name, do you know how many characters? I believe you get 13 characters per first name and last name. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 13 characters first name, 13 characters last name. So you can have up to 26 characters in your name, but they are speaking about making it so you can only use your first name. Also, I'm gonna expand on the name thing, because there's multiple servers and the duty finder puts you across people multiple servers. It is possible to have 2 people in a duty finder party that have the exact same name. So if you see that, it's not really important, but it could be interesting. So if you both name yourself Cloud Strife, and I hope to God you don't do that at all, because people who name themselves Cloud Strife, seriously, stop it. Don't do it. Don't fucking name yourself Cloud Strife or Sephiroth, and not Sephiroth with like 12 different fucking spellings because you couldn't get the original either. You can technically have two Cloud Strifes in your party. So that was all of his questions. Let's see. Can you please turn your mic up? It's up. That's not. What do you know about the summoner class? There's a lot of speculation out there. I can't seem to get any hard facts. I answered that, thankfully. Um, let's see. But there will be a trailer for Summoner and Arcanist in the next couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that. Everyone in the beta going through withdrawals. Hey, love, thank you. Keep it coming. Is Black Mage overpowered? It's not available for testing yet, so I can't say. But in Final Fantasy XIV 1.0, yes, it was very overpowered because they didn't have to build up TP like Melees did. They could just do their maximum amount of damage right from the get-go. They didn't need to build up TP or anything. They just waited on cooldowns. All right. Will characters be moved from Phase 3 over into Phase 4? No. That is what they've said. No, they will not. Phase 3 going to Phase 4 will not happen, but Phase 4 into the open game is up for grabs. They're saying it might be possible. It'd be nice to get character names through PS name. Why get rid of the beard? It's awesome. I got rid of it, as you can see. It's growing back into stubs right now. I heard that first and last names are not unique to characters. Example, being everyone on the server can have the name like Cloud. Have they ever shared the reason behind doing this? Also, do you think that mounts like the Jaguar will be able to fight like chocobos? I also think I remember them saying there will be guild housing, but I'm wondering the limit how many people can stay in the house, or will rooms be instance or based? The guild house, I don't know if you can stay in it, but you can have a guild house where you hang up trophies and stuff like that. By the way, my mic might shut off randomly in the next minute or so. I'm watching it if you see my eyes. Let's see what else. Everyone's serving it. They've never really shared a reason other than with the first last name system. It's really hard to get the exact same name as somebody else. So you could what if like it's kind of like in real life. My name is Michael. My first name is Michael. And I have a friend named Michael. So technically, what if we both wanted to name our characters Michael but with different last names? That's the only reasoning. It's just because in real life you don't go, oh, that guy's named Michael. I guess I can't name my kid Michael. Like I guess that's their thinking behind it. But I'm obviously not a dev, so I don't know. Mounts like the Jaguar. Well, mounts will be able to fight. Chocobos will be able to fight with the buddy system. I've spoken about that in a previous video. Also, they haven't said if there will be other types of pets we can use that can fight, but I can only assume that if we can raise a chocobo and fight it, that there might eventually be other mounts that we can use through the buddy system. What else? Can you do a follow-up video to your Week 8 informational? This is actually the Week 8, and I miscounted the last one, so I'll reword it. Loads of screenshots poured in today, info about Odin and Bahamut, and a sneak piece at the Bestiary. Well, that's interesting. Bahamut, Final Fantasy XIV information. Let's Google it real quick, because I did not find out. I felt there's Mega Flare. Actually, no, that's not it. Amber Bahamut. Nope, those are not the right Bahamuts. Let's see. Let's go down to Final Fantasy XIV. Well, apparently there's more information out there. Well, the Bestiary I've seen. I've seen the Bestiary. It's nothing crazy, but I do see some information right here. Thank you, somebody, for posting this. The primals in Final Fantasy XIV. See? Told you my mic would shut off. Held in the direct. The elder primal Bahamut broke free of his captivity when the celestial body was wrested from the heavens to descend upon the battle of Carchino. Once free, the terrible being wrought fiery destruction across the length and breadth of Eorzea, his devastating rampage marking the beginning of the 7th Umbral Era. In the midst of the chaos, however, Bahamut was enveloped in a blinding white light and abruptly disappeared from the skies. None claim to have seen the primal in the 5 years since, and Odin, a fell knight clad in all black, Odin roams paths long forgotten beneath the canopy of the Black Shroud. There are none now alive who know the truth of when or by whom this elder primal was first summoned into the world. Ever vigilant as he sits astride his mighty steed, Sleipnir, it is said that Odin is driven solely by the desire to do battle with worthy foes. Ifrit has a volatile temper, controls the power of fire, yada yada yada, no one cares. Titan, no one cares. Garuda, no one cares. Brahma, no. It's just backstories to everything. That's all I found, and this was just 4 days ago. So, and there is a bestiary on the website now. So I highly recommend that if you haven't, you go over to the official Final Fantasy XIV website and you look at the Beast Diary. There's a lot of good background information there. So that was that question. I'm glad I looked at that. Let's see. Doesn't look like I have too many more. I bought the collector's edition back when it came out. Do I just have a $100 paperweight now? Are they going to come out with a new release product? I guess you can call it. You're just going to get a bonus. Yeah, I mentioned that. You won't have to rebuy the game. Yep. You bought the game once. Yep. Oh, and you word on an Xbox release. No word as an Xbox, but they did it with 11. I don't see why they can't do it with 14, especially on the 720. Um, can you disclose where you heard about the battle system changes? See, I don't even remember what I said in this video. So, if you're talking about changes to like the limit breaks and everything, um, there's been a lot of it's really just a Google search away, and I don't have the information on hand right now. But it's nothing fancy, battle system changes. Or if you're talking about the fact that they're delaying Phase 3, um, they're just doing it because people are asking them to do it. Battle system changes, the limit break, there won't be a battle regiment system anymore. Um, where I got the information, I really just, a Google search a week gets you some pretty decent information if anything new pops up. That's all you got to do now. And the final question, which was actually the first question, the last question somebody asked me 2 days ago, will there be a cap on Odin's difficulty? If he gains, and for those of you who don't know, every time Odin is defeated, he becomes stronger the next time he spawns, and the quality of his items that he drops to everyone in the fate, because Odin is a fate. He's not a world boss, he's a fate. If he gains in strength and quality of item drops after every kill, essentially after his 20th or even 200th defeat, his drops will be better than anything else one can get in game. So as he cap his difficulty, they have not said this, but here's the thing: you can expect for Square Enix to do some sort of thing where they're keeping track of who's getting Odin to the highest difficulty. And you can expect them to announce it kind of similar to the way in 11 they did Besieged. They announced like, oh, these people haven't lost the Besieged since it came out in 9 months. Things like that. You can expect them to keep track of it, but I do expect that Odin will be a sort of this boss that is perpetual in the game. What I mean by that is when we can't beat him anymore at 50. Like, say we beat him 200 times, and now he just one-shots everybody. Doesn't matter how tanky you are, what gear you have, you are going to lose when you fight Bahamut. When you fight Odin. Sorry. That's how it's going to be. That's it. You're done. Your server cannot beat him anymore. He is just there to decimate people. When the level cap raises to 55, guess what happens? You can start beating him again. Now you get him, let's say, the 400th kill, and you can't beat him again. Level cap raises to 60. Now you beat him 600 times, you can't beat him. That's what's going to happen. I feel like he is going to be a perpetual source of gear through all expansions. He will get stronger no matter how we look at it. His gear will always get to a point where it is usable again. So that is all the questions I have on my previous video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It actually turned out to be a lot longer of a video than I thought it was. Sorry if it was a little bit misformal. It's been a rough morning. I haven't even eaten yet. As you can see, the guest starring me is a sandwich. It's been sitting in the back. I know someone's noticed it by now. Might as well. I can't wait to eat that thing. As you can see, I couldn't wait before doing the video. So, thank you for watching, everyone. Stay tuned in for next. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Send me a personal message. Please like, favorite, subscribe, even share it if you got cool friends like that who actually play MMOs and aren't shy about it. So, thank you for watching, everyone. I'm going to have some more videos coming out today. And next week, I'm going to be streaming Resident Evil Revelations. I'm going to make a more formal video about that later today. But thank you for watching, and have a good weekend.